I believe I'm recording. Hello, everyone. It's October the 3rd, 5th. I don't know. Anyway, it's October, early October. This is a Wednesday, the 5th. And I've had a busy week. Well, every week is busy. What happened this week? Okay, let's look back one week. What happened whenever? I had a test last Tuesday, I think it was. That was in combustion, where we talk about setting things on fire and then do lots of math. Yes, if you take this part of hydrogen and put it with this part of... take it off the carbon and put it on the oxygen with another hydrogen, then you get water, and it produces X amount of energy. Anyway, I had my first exam in that class. Honestly, I don't think I'm keeping up with that class very well. If I end up... so I need to study a lot. In good news, I got an 88 on the exam. I haven't had the chance to look over it very much. That's good because when I took the exam, I was secretly thinking, oh my god, I hope I get at least a 60 so that it's not so bad I can't pull it up. But I got an 88. So that is good. Although I kind of crashed and burned on the most recent 2 homework assignments. So I don't feel very confident about how I'm doing in that class. I have some solid grades. My first exam is good. My first 2 homeworks are passable. But the most recent 2 homeworks I've not been good with. So I'm planning to study some. I have some vitamin D here that I take. Because, I don't know, that stuff. Okay, what else has been going on? Because I've been doing more than just combustion. Well, I've been doing more than just the test. Also in combustion, this past Tuesday, yesterday, I had a homework due. That homework, I spent days working on it, day after day, and it was just, I couldn't... The first question, which is where I wasted most of my wasted time, required you to take a program which he emailed to us and figure out how to input-output something and modify a file using certain... and you use something, and if I knew what I was doing, I could have done the assignment. But I wasn't able to figure out how it worked in the amount of time I had, and that just is kind of how it went. I eventually went on. I did do problem 3, and I did part of problem 2, although I'm not sure I did it right. And I answered one part of problem 1 because it didn't actually require the rest of it. It was, why does this happen? And he sent us a research article that told us why it happened. So I answered those questions. But I wasn't able to do anything with the programming thing. And the worst thing about having to work with a program like that is that if the program doesn't work, you have nothing to show for all your effort. So I spent days, and I'm going to get no credit for it. But that just, you know, sucks. What else have I been doing? My dynamics class has been sort of occupying my time, but not in ways that are productive. For example, last Friday, rather than spend, you know, more time doing whatever, Friday I went to the library. I have a friend that I hang out with on Fridays around 2-ish. I went to the library before then, and I looked up dynamics stuff. The class I'm taking is Advanced Dynamics, not Dynamics and Controls, not other stuff, just Advanced Dynamics. It's three-dimensional dynamics, we started out with a lot of kinematics, and from there it's just, we seem to be moving in the direction of rigid body, three-dimensional rigid body descriptions. How can I put this? When you go from working with planar dynamics to working with three-dimensional dynamics, your number of terms increases from 1 to 27. It might be more than that. Anyway, the whole thing explodes all over your paper, and you're spending like half your paper writing a single equation, and it's kind of crazy. It's also cool. I like it. I like big things with lots of stuff to keep track of, because I'm sort of good at it. I do screw up once in a while, but considering how much the average people seem to screw up, I seem to screw up less. That's how much I screw up. Oh, what else do I do? Yeah, I don't know why the color on this is really weird. I think it's trying to adjust, but it's used to me being... I put a lamp right here. Maybe it's too much light. That didn't help. Anyway, screw it. What else have I been doing? I've had this dynamics thing, and it's occupying a lot of mental space, but it's not been too bad because the requirements are really low. He wanted us to find 5 professional journal dynamics things, and what we're looking for is that they describe their equations very thoroughly so that we'll be able to go through and translate them into what we're using for our class. He said one of the big problems with dynamics as a field of study is that everything has its own notation. Every person who does dynamics work uses their own notation for the same equations. You can see how having hundreds and maybe thousands of different people all representing the same thing slightly differently can get confusing. So in his class, he spent a lot of time and effort trying to make sure that we're all using the same notation. And because it's the best, right? When he said that, it made it clear to me that one of the problems is the notation, and that one of the things that I could do is try to develop something that's very intuitive. That's been one of my advantages as a student, is finding things and taking them and making them make sense. The only problem is that then when people see my stuff, they say, well, this is easy. What was hard about it? I made it make sense for you. Anyway, so I'm working on this, and what else? No, that was separate. Anyway, dynamics, I have a big project. I'm going to be working on it for like the next 3 months. I think I found the article I'm going to be working on. I might go ahead and get a jump on that this weekend, because it's a holiday weekend, and we all know that grad students don't actually have holiday weekends. Although I will be doing some fun stuff too. I'll probably do a lot of work on Friday. Anyway, what else am I doing? Optimization, that's my other big class. In optimization last week, I was worried about the project he wants us to do, and so I brainstormed ideas. I had lots of, like 5 different ideas for things that I could optimize, but I was kind of iffy about them. But that's why I went in and talked to him. So I made my list, I checked it twice, and then I went in and I said, of these things. I have a list. There's really only two that I think are viable. One of them had to do with optimizing the way you spend your time to try to maximize your grades, which he did not think was very good because it can be difficult to quantify. I felt like it was very fuzzy because it's hard to tell what you're doing. But anyway, that was one of those fuzzy, touchy-feely kind of things that I'm good at, but that doesn't like to be engineered. But the other idea I had, which involved a solar still, it's a kind of, basically it purifies water using only sunlight. And I started looking up things online because when I talked to him about that, he basically said, I don't know anything about it, but it sounds like it could be viable. I intended for you not to have to derive all of the equations yourself, though. So I want you to go online and look up equations that other people found and made. And in looking online, I decided that was a terrible idea because I don't trust any of their work, and most of them don't actually use equations, and they have priorities that I don't care about. Like one of them, like I saw one where a U.S.-Mexican joint program, mostly funded by the United States. If I understood it right, I don't know. Anyway, they were building solar stills for people who lived in remote parts of Mexico. Well, I think they were having them build their own. Anyway, manufacturability, making it easy to build, was very high on their list of objectives. And being a theoretical project that may or may not ever actually get built, I don't care so much. And if I did build it, I would have access to a whole lot of different things that basically I don't need to worry about some of the things they're worrying about. So I was excited to see that. I was kind of disappointed to see that someone else had my idea, but I was happy to get inspiration from their ideas, which I think I'll be able to work with. But I also think that I need to derive those equations myself. I tried to find them. They're not finding. And this is a problem I've had with lots of stuff. You go out, you try to find something, you don't see it. Do you spend a week, a month, several months trying to find the stuff? Or do you just sit down in one afternoon and write out the equations for yourself? I'm more of the latter kind of person, but coming up through school, it's always been, no, go find work that someone else has done so you can reference it and then you'll know it's right, and we can't do any work, we can't trust you to do your own work. Nothing you do can be trusted. You always have to go check, see what someone else has done, and yeah, fuck them. I'm just going to derive the equations myself because it's a hell of a lot faster than looking them up. All I need to do is calculate the vapor pressure of water as a function of its temperature. Well, and then lots of math, you don't care. Anyway, my classes occupy most of my time, but I have been hanging out with friends. Fancy Pants is going out of town this weekend, so I won't be seeing her. And that freed up time for me to go home. I have a bunch of stuff I need to do at home anyway, so I'm thinking I might go home for Saturday. Now that they're not so far away, it's better. And I can't think of much else. I'm looking forward to this break. I'm planning to work, but I'm not planning to break my networking the way I have been recently. My biggest thing is I need to study my combustion and catch up because my grades might look okay for now, but I know they're not okay, and I need to go work. But not tonight. Tonight I'm going to play video games. Yeah, I think I might buy Portal 2. It's on sale.